Greetings, carbon-based life forms. Today I want to talk about gap years. At the time that I'm making this video, it is the summer of 2020, which will forever live in infamy as the summer we all stayed inside. The summer of COVID-19. In March of 2020, the pandemic began hitting the US pretty hard, and colleges all over the country sent their students home to finish their semesters online. Well, just last week, MIT, where I go to school, announced its plan for fall, because 4 months later, we're still in the midst of this, which means that fall semester is not going to be able to function as it normally would. Basically what the plan boils down to is I'm allowed to come back and live on campus in the fall, have very limited interaction with the community, labs, etc., and most of my classes will be online except for those with extremely necessary in-person components. Then, in the spring, I'll be 100% online again, unless something significant changes, such as the development of a vaccine, in which case they'll consider bringing seniors back in the spring as well. This leaves me with a rather difficult choice. Do I enroll this year, or take a gap year? Theoretically, I could also enroll one semester and take one of the semesters off, but I have reasons for not wanting to do that I'll leave in the dooblydoo if you're curious, but I'm not going to get into them in the video. There are pros and cons to both enrolling and taking leave, and I'll leave a short list of them in the dooblydoo, but I think the important thing for me to think and talk about right now is something that absolutely terrifies me. I don't want to go back. Before the announcement came out, I was considering my various options, and I had more or less come to the conclusion that if I was allowed to come back to campus and the classes I wanted to take were being offered, I would go, and otherwise I would stay home and take leave. But in the days preceding that announcement, I realized there was a specific outcome I was hoping for. I was hoping to be told I couldn't come back. I was hoping to take a gap year. I haven't totally teased out why I wanted that, and it scares me a lot. There's a possibility I simply knew that even being on campus while the pandemic was still going on would be a less than ideal experience with all its strict limitations. I mean, all my lectures would still be online, I just might have a bit of access to lab. Collaboration would be nearly impossible considering that my social skills are limited as is, and without being able to chat with people at the beginnings and ends of classes, I'd probably be screwed. I also think part of me wants a bit of a reset on college. Before the apocalypse happened last semester, I was doing really well in terms of sleep and motivation and staying on top of my classes, but one thing I still hadn't figured out was the social aspect. MIT is an incredibly collaborative school, and I was struggling to find people to work with. Plus, I wanted to find a balance between studying and spending time with friends, but it's hard to spend time with friends when you don't have any. So I think part of me wants this to be a clean break, to pull my mental health together a little bit more, and come back ready to face MIT from an academic perspective and a social perspective. I really do think I can do it, I just need a little bit more time. And maybe slightly more ideal conditions than a pandemic provides. All of these signs seem to point to it being a good idea for me to take a gap year, but the prospect still scares me. What if I'm just trying to run away from school? If all I want is to avoid school and the hard work it brings, I probably shouldn't take a gap year. So that's where I'm at right now. I want to take a gap year, but I'm questioning my motivations. I'll probably make another video about this when I've made my decision. DFTBA.